Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we're going to do some speaking feedback on Samina's speaking test. So let's take a look. One second. So, good afternoon. My name is Glyn. Would you please tell me your full name?
Good afternoon, sir. My full name is Samina Nazma. You may call me Samina.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Samina. And now, in this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Where are you from, Samina?
I'm from Dhaka, which is the largest city of Bangladesh, and
The largest city in Bangladesh, probably.
it is also capital city of Bangladesh.
It is the capital city of Bangladesh, but okay, minor points. And do you like this city?
Of course, I like living this city. I grew up
I like living in this city.
in this city,
I grew up, that's a good phrasal verb.
and usually I kind of comfortable zone right now.
Okay, usually I kind of comfortable zone. Let's just listen to that again. So the question is, do you like this place?
Up in this city, and usually I kind of comfortable zone, right?
Usually I kind of comfortable zone. So unfortunately that doesn't make sense. It's not a grammatically accurate sense and I don't know exactly what she means there. Also, I noticed with usually, she pronounces it as usually, so she has a z instead of a j. Now, I don't know if this is just because she has a problem specifically with the word usually, or if she has a problem with the sound j in general. So it's just a little thing in my head that I'm listening for now. How will she be with her j and even j and maybe even ch sounds? But okay, let's move on.
Right now,
And what do young people do in their free time in this city?
in my city, when young generation get free time, they usually hang up with friends,
Hang out with friends, good.
and right now they are more right now
Bit of reformulation there. She tries to say it one way, then she has to go back and start again. A little bit of reformulation is absolutely fine and natural and normal, but we don't want to see too much of it.
the young generation use chatting or gaming together when they catch
I don't know about use chatting and gaming. You know, they chat and game together, or they chat with each other, or play games together, or they, yeah. I don't know about use chatting or use gaming.
So I think it is usually they do.
Usually, again, we had usually, but again, it's the same word. Of course, it should be a j, usually. And do you have any famous sites or any historical places in the city?
Of course, in my city,
So I noticed she's repeating a lot of language. Of course, I think she has answered now 2 or 3 questions with of course, and she's also used in my city quite a few times too.
I have famous in my city. I have famous place.
So I don't know, we have is fine, or there is, or there are. Those are good constructions.
Is one of name is
One of name is
Shohid Minar, which is located in Dhaka University,
okay to be located somewhere. Good.
and also in my city have.
In my city have this might be a direct like translation from her first language, but in my city have, there's no subject here. We need a subject. In my city isn't a subject, it's an adverbial, and so in my city who we have, or I like there is, there are. If you're talking about your city, there is, there are, right? So there are a lot of tourists, or there are a lot of famous sites, or there is a lot of pollution, or something like this. There is, there are constructions are perfect for describing what's in your city.
It's also called that mosque of city. So
It's also called the Mosque of Cities. I think she means the city of mosques. So the Mosque of Cities would be like one mosque, a famous mosque which has a lot of cities inside it. She means it's the city of mosques. So Dhaka is one city with a lot of famous mosques inside it, or with a lot of mosques inside it. So she got that term just mixed up there.
There is a lot of mosques.
Hey, we got there is cool. Now, of course, because mosques is plural, we should use there are. There are a lot of mosques. But some L1 speakers use there is with plurals. You know, there's a lot of people. And some people might even say, well, this noun is lot, a lot. And lot is the singular noun. There is a lot of people. Maybe a few hundred years ago, that might have been okay, but now we usually use there are plus a lot of plus plural noun, right? There are a lot of people, there are a lot of mosques, and so on. Let's move on now and talk about transport. What's the most popular kind of transport in your city?
In my city, most
In my city again, it's just too many times.
popular transport is bus. Usually they get
Usually again.
transport in bus, and
Get transport in bus. We take transport, or we take the bus, or we get around the city by bus. That would be perfect language here. We get around. We usually get around the city by bus. Or we get from A to B by bus, if you want to use more idiomatic language. But not, yeah.
also Uber is right now very get popular.
Uber is right now very get popular. So grammatically, this is very chaotic. Word order is wrong. I don't know about is get popular. This use of verb to be in present simple with verbs like it is get popular.
So I can say these two things is most popular in my city.
And are there any traffic problems in your area?
Oh, of course, there
We get another, of course.
is a lot of traffic problem.
There are a lot of traffic problems, but it's nice that she is trying to use this like there is or there are construction.
Usually it get
Another usually. But again, this problem with usually has only been with this one word, usually. So I can't say that she has a problem mispronouncing the j sound in general. I don't have evidence for that. I only have evidence to say that she mispronounces usually. So I'm really hoping that she will use some other words that has this j sound, so I can find out for sure if the problem is with the word usually or if the problem is with the sound j.
it getting
And if the problem is with the sound j in general, then this is a bigger problem than simply mispronouncing usually as usually.
when school finish their and also
So no problem with the sh sound, school finish. So she's okay with the sh sound. And if she's okay with the sh, maybe she'll be okay with the j. They're kind of similar sounds. And I also want to hear the j sound. Will I get the j? So she's okay with sh. Is she okay with j and j? Let's see.
so in the evening when every person get back to home for their workplace, at that time there is a lot of chaos and traffic
Okay, a lot of chaos, nice.
jam as well.
Oh, traffic jam. We got that j sound, traffic jam. Let's just hear.
For their workplace, at that time there is a lot of chaos and traffic jam as well.
Traffic jam. So she's just saying it as jam. So it suggests to me these repeated mistakes with usually and now this mistake with jam. For me, this suggests that there is a problem, that she doesn't have a full phonological range of sounds in English. So the j and the j potentially problematic. But maybe there will be other evidence of this in the test. Now let's talk about bicycles. Did you have a bicycle when you were a child? So notice this is past tense. Did you have a bicycle when you were a child? Can Samina use some past tense here? Just simple past tense is fine. Past simple, maybe, used to, could be okay.
Of course, I do have a bicycle.
Again, of course, and I do have a bicycle. This is present time. We're looking for past time. Now let's talk about bicycles. Did you have a bicycle when you were a child?
Of course, I do have a bicycle. It's bicycle when I was in in my childhood, I
Okay, when I was, at least that's in the past.
like to ride a bike.
I like to ride a bike. Now, the context is that we're talking about pastime, but she says, I like to ride a bike. So I don't know if she's moving into the present or if she just has a mistake with, very often lower level learners in terms of grammar just use present simple for everything. Let's just listen again for context.
It's bicycle when I was in my childhood. I like to ride a bike a lot, but right now there is a lot of narrow place where I live.
There's a lot of narrow place. It's not. I kind of understand what she means, but I have to do some interpretation.
So I not right now I'm not ride a bike.
Right now, I am not ride a bike. So again, that use of the verb to be, this auxiliary in the present simple. I don't ride a bike. Present simple, I don't ride a bike. Present continuous, I am not riding a bike. But we don't say I am not ride a bike. So we've had quite a few mistakes already with present simple and present continuous.
Like
Do you think you'd like to start riding a bicycle again in the future?
of course, if I get
Another, of course.
any chance,
If I get any chance, good.
if I live in a larger place in future, then I will definitely ride a.
Cool, so nice simple first conditional. If I, present simple, I will. Cool, if I get a chance, I will ride a bike in the future. So first conditional, nice.
Bike.
And do you think it's difficult to learn how to ride a bicycle?
Not much.
I don't like this not much. So not much, how many, do you have a lot of problems with pollution in your city? Not much. Well, not problems, not many. Do you have a lot of pollution in your city? Not much. Or how much free time do you have? Not much. But the question is it difficult? Difficult is an adjective, so we don't use not much with adjectives, but not very. Not very. Not really.
Dependent person. If
It depends on. So she got the preposition on, cool, but again, she's missing that S. It depends on. And again, another mistake with present simple. Now, it's very difficult for me to imagine that if a candidate makes repeated mistakes with present simple and present continuous, I really can't see them getting higher than a 6 for grammar, maybe not even higher than a 5 if they are just repeated. And so far in part 1, that's what we've seen.
a person very interested to ride a bicycle, then I think person can definitely learn bicycle as quick as they.
Okay, I like this can definitely learn. A person can definitely learn, not just the language, but the pronunciation. So in terms of the sentence stress, she puts the stress on definitely. A person can definitely learn. So this shows, some awareness of intonation. Good stuff.
They want.
Okay, thank you. Now, in this next part, all right, so that's the end of part 1. So my observation so far that she extends her answers reasonably well. Her answers cohere with the questions, so they are good questions good answers in response to the question. She doesn't go off topic very much. Small problem with coherence, did you have a bicycle in the past? Yes, I do have a bicycle. That's a problem with grammar, but it's also a problem with coherence because I'm not sure if she's talking about present time or past time. Okay, about grammar, it's weak. We have, fundamental grammar, present simple, present continuous, mistakes with those all the time. Or it's very rare, or so far in part 1, it's rare to see any back-to-back error-free sentences. Very important concept. Back-to-back error-free sentences. It means you have sentence 1 with no mistake. You have sentence 2 with no mistake. And maybe you have sentence 3. 3 sentences in a row with no mistakes. We are not close to this. I don't think there have been 2 back-to-back error-free sentences, and so the hope of getting a good score for grammar is probably already gone. I don't think there will be much improvement with grammar in parts 2 and 3. Vocabulary is good. She's already used, words like traffic jams and chaos and things like this. So vocab seems decent. Pronunciation is clear to understand. There is this small problem with usually, but she also shows some good intonation with this, like they can definitely learn the weak form of can. They can definitely learn. Stress on definitely. So pronunciation, all right. I don't have to work hard to understand what she's saying. A couple of slips. Part two, I want to focus on vocabulary a little more, so I haven't focused much on vocabulary in part one. So in part two, I'll just listen for some vocabulary. Let's skip ahead to the task itself. Okay, so that's the end of your preparation time. To remind you, you will have between 1 and 2 minutes to give your talk, and I will let you know when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please? So one thing I'll always mention is that we're not always looking for the flashiest type of language, right? A lot of students just think that they can learn synonyms for very good. They can learn like amazing, astonishing, wonderful, fantastic, brilliant. And they think that if they just use those words all the time, then they'll get good marks. You won't. We're looking for topic-specific vocab. So she's going to choose a goal that she would like to achieve. And so based on that topic, if it's a goal connected to losing weight, for example, we might expect to see a lot of language like calorie counting or being in a calorie deficit or doing cardiovascular exercise or going to the gym, lifting weights, taking classes, something like this. All of that's like good, natural topic specific vocab. And that's more important than just, do you know colourful literary language that you see on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook where they say, in IELTS, don't use this, use this. It's like, well, no. I've seen even some places say, don't say very in IELTS. Like, don't say very hot in IELTS, use boiling. It's like, well, no, you want a variety of those things. Very is a very common word in English. And to have the idea that you should never say very, for me, is insane. But I am going off topic. I am bad for my fluency and coherence, especially my coherence here. Let's get back on topic. Let's see how Samina does with the vocabulary in her part 2 long term.
Of course, I'm ready.
Okay, so I've said, can you start speaking now, please? And Samina's like, of course, because she answers many questions with, of course. I'm ready. Well, talk, right? So that's your signal. So the examiner will just, can you start speaking now, please? And that's your time to talk. You don't, I don't know. It's so many candidates do this where you give them the instructions, you tell them that it's their time to talk, and they say, okay, sure. And then a few seconds later, they say, oh, can I start now? IELTS is pretty straightforward with this. In the Cambridge exams, like in Cambridge First or Cambridge Advanced, very often the examiner will say, all right, and that will be your cue to talk. But it's not very clear with the Cambridge exams, like, all right, and should I start speaking now? But in IELTS, it's pretty obvious, I think. Now it's your time to talk. But again, Glyn, be quiet. Let's listen to Samina. You may begin.
Okay. First of all, I like to say that my goal is I want to achieve that I want to study abroad.
So there's a lot of reformulation here, right? In the long term, it's important to get off to a good start. So, just plan what you're going to say. If you want to keep it simple, keep it simple. There's nothing really wrong with, I'm going to talk about, that's fine. But we want to get into it. We know that speaking for 2 minutes, there will be sometimes when we break down. There will be sometimes when we need to stop and reformulate. That's fine in the middle, but we don't want to start this way with heavy reformulation. Let's just listen one more time to the way Samina begins this. I think, I don't think you should script any of your speaking tasks, but you may script the opening sentence because it's important. Let's just listen one more time and notice the reformulation, how she starts, stops, and then tries again.
Okay. First of all, I like to say that my goal is I want to achieve that I want to study abroad. It is my
I'm sure you can see that fluency breaking down, right? Perfect just to say, I'm going to talk to you about my goal, which is to study abroad. That's fine.
I want to really go to abroad for my higher study. When I started preparation this and I want to decided that I want to study abroad.
Again, we still have a lot of reformulation, and it's getting a bit I wouldn't say confusing. It's easy for the examiner to become impatient here, to think like, come on, tell me, imagine asking your friend like, oh, what did you do at the weekend? Oh, I went to the, no, I watched the, I had a, with my friends, we bought the, no, we at the market, we found, well, not found, we kind of, you probably feel frustrated here, right? You think just tell me the thing, tell me what I want to hear. Of course, the examiner isn't frustrated, and I am not frustrated, but we have to examine how it might appear to a regular listener, and I imagine a regular listener could be, confused or impatient at all of this reformulation.
At that time, I faced a lot of difficult situation.
Face a lot of difficult situations. Good.
First of all, my parents
First of all, good.
didn't allow to go to abroad.
Okay, didn't allow me to go abroad, but allow is good, meaning give permission.
As my own. So
On my own, not as my own, but okay.
And I took a lot of time to convince them that it is what I really want to do.
Convince them is good.
In my life, and I can say that is really difficult for me. And also others difficult part is that financial problem as well, as we are living
Oh, sorry about that.
middle class family. We have there is a lot of
Sorry,
issue for
just a second.
financial
Sorry, I had a problem with the video there. Let's just go back a little bit.
is that financial problem as well, as we are living middle class family. We have
I didn't quite get that. We are living immediate family. What was that?
so we are living middle class family.
We are living immediate family. No idea what she said there. It's very rare. Usually Samina's speech is very, very easy to understand, but there is an example there where I just don't know what she's saying. Sometimes she has like some connection problems, but I'm trying to ignore the connection problems. I'm not marking her down when I don't understand her because it's a connection problem, but this wasn't that case.
There is a lot of issue for financial matters.
There is a lot of issue for financial matters. Grammatically, it's strange, but I like financial matters. That's good vocab.
So at that time, I think if I can get a good score, then I will apply for my funding.
If I can get a good score in what? I don't think she's mentioned a good score. In exam or something?
Or scholarship, then
Scholarship, very nice.
I will achieve my cover my financial problem as well.
Okay, cover my financial, cover my costs or cover my financial responsibilities maybe, but I like this verb cover. That's good.
So, and other thing is that when I'm planning it,
when I planning, again, present continuous, when I am planning, she has a big problem with present simple, present continuous, we know.
Plan this goal by step. I point out, and then I took if I done one step, then.
So there's a complete breakdown in coherence here, right? We'll just go back a little bit. Notice again the reformulation, and the average person would find it very difficult to really tune in to what she's trying to say here. Just listen again.
Step by step, I point out, and then I took if I done one step, then it's just I can say that I took a bullet.
There's just seems to be a random collection of words or semi-complete clauses which don't make sense together. I can't make sense of it, I'm sorry.
Point in that time that if I get one step done, then I tick mark that bullet point.
Okay,
And
thank you. All right, so really lost that coherence and fluency in the second half of that. There was a lot of good vocab in there, like to cover financial stuff. She used financial matters, which was good. She used the word scholarship, which is very, connected to the topic that she was speaking about, studying abroad. So there was a lot of good vocab in there. Same mistakes with grammar, same problems. Pronunciation generally okay, but fluency and coherence really died in that second half. So I have a fair idea now of what I'm going to give her. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. So the two things I'm undecided on is the two things I'm undecided on are vocab. She has shown a lot of good vocab. I think I know what I'm going to give her, but part three, maybe I'll change my mind. And maybe just a couple of small questions over pronunciation. I think grammar and fluency and coherence, more or less, I've decided. But let's see part three. And
Okay.
when do you think you can achieve this goal?
After finishing my IELTS exam, then I think I will prepare
That's nice. After finishing my IELTS exam, I think I will. Good.
and I will achieve my goal.
Okay, thank you. So you've been describing a goal that you would like to achieve. I'd like to talk about goals in general now. Why do you think it's important for people to have goals?
I think it is really important for people who have goals because
Okay, so you can see that she's just echoing the language of the question back, right? Why do you think it's important for people to have goals? I think it's really important for people to have goals. She's just echoing back the examiner's language. We don't want that. Sometimes it's unavoidable, sometimes it happens, but in general, it's better not to simply echo back. And even there was a mistake there. So, she said it's important for people have goals instead of it's important for people to have goals. So this, infinitive after adjective. So yeah, just echoing back the examiner's question and with a mistake.
it if we can decide what we want in life, then we can shine in life and we can
If we decide what we want in life, we can shine in life. It's a beautiful idea, but it's just not very well explained, is it? It's not always true, is it? That if we can decide what we want in life, we can shine in life? Maybe.
success in our life as well. And if we have no achieving that kind, we if we
Gain reformulation, quite a lot of it. Listen again.
achieving that kind, we if we don't have set any kind of goal,
If we don't have set any kind of goal, so grammatically again, it's very confusing.
then we will be disconnect for our
We will be we will be disconnected from.
regular generation and our irregular activities as well. And people also need discipline in their life. So
Cool. I like that point. People need discipline in their life. Discipline is a great word to use here.
I think it is really important.
What kind of goals do you think are not very realistic?
I think if I want to be a big super
So she's again going with a conditional. I noticed a lot of her answers feature this first conditional. I don't know if this is a deliberate strategy from Samina. I don't know. Maybe she had a teacher who told her, if you want to get good scores for grammar, use conditionals. Conditionals can be a good way of showing that you know your grammar well, but you shouldn't overuse them. And so many of the sentences are if da 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 da, I will da 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 da.
superhero, that will be not good for me. So at this case, it will be unrealistic.
In this case, not at this case. So a lot of small problems with collocation. This is the thing I'm thinking about with vocab, is that while in part two she did show a lot of good vocab, and even in part one and part three she shows good vocab, but there are quite a lot of mistakes with collocations, just words that go together. Yeah.
But in general, if I
in general, not in generally. You can say generally or in general, but not in generally.
Prepare for any kind of job or any kind of achievement which is realistic, then I can say it will achieve in further way.
It will achieve in further way. I don't know what she said there. That just missed it. And what's the difference between a long-term and a short-term goal?
There is a lot of differences between long-term goal and short-term goals.
Again, there are a lot of differences, but okay.
Mostly, first of all, if we prepare for
It's a good setup, right? There are a lot of differences. First of all, good signposting language.
short-term goal, it will be do very few minutes. It's like very few times. But if I'm planning for long-term goal, I will settle in my life and I will achieve.
So there's a bit of a problem with the signposting that she says, like, first of all, and so I'm hoping she'll link that with, and second of all, or secondly, or additionally, and also, or furthermore. But she said, first of all, but will we get that secondly, or second of all, or additionally? Will we get it?
What I need in my life. So I think long-term goal is very, for me, I think long-term goal is very preferable for me.
Okay, so it's not a problem there that she didn't get that. Not a huge problem that she didn't hit that secondly or second of all. She says long-term goals are preferable for me. Okay, but that's not really the question. Our purpose here is to discuss the difference between short-term and long-term goals. Her main idea was that short-term goals are easier or they're faster to plan for, which maybe is a fair point. It wasn't very well explained or very well developed, but I kind of get what she means. And do you agree that long-term goals are more difficult to achieve than short-term goals?
Yes, of course.
Again, we get this, of course. Now, there's nothing wrong with of course, but we've just had it so many times. So instead of course, think about just mixing it up. Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. You can show it with your intonation if you want. We don't have to use of course, of course, of course, of course for every yes or no question.
Because when we planning for short-term goals, it will take a few more steps. But when we planning for long-term goals, then it will be take more time. And
It will be take more time. Again, a problem with this be, when to use be and when not to use be. I sympathize. English is really not a very intelligently designed language. I hate present simple that, students, should I say I agree or I'm agree, or I play football or I'm play football, or I late for work or I'm late for work. It's very tricky, but most of our spoken language, I think, is in present simple. I read a remarkable statistic. I don't know if it's true, but something like 60% of all informal conversational language is in present simple. I don't know if that statistic is true, but when I heard it or read it, I kind of thought, yeah, maybe that is true. But so we have to get it right. I appreciate it can be difficult to learn these rules, but we have to get present simple right. I know this wasn't present simple, but okay, fair enough.
more focus in that goal. So I think that is the really difference between two goals.
And about children's goals, do you think parents should set goals for their children, or do you think children should be allowed to set their own goals?
In my opinion, I think for
Okay, good that she got in my opinion, but then she used I think. We don't need both in my opinion and I think. They both mean the same thing.
few decision or few goals, student should take by herself or himself, because when they started
I don't know about students as a synonym for young people or children.
uh, uh, planning their goals and decision, they will improve their knowledge and maturity as well by growing
Okay, knowledge and maturity, nice language.
their is. And sometimes parents should also involve, if when a children planning for big decision, then children can take opinion for parents. So in my opinion, I can say both are doing great. If I can combine, then both will be great for a child.
Okay, thank you. Again, she got that first conditional there to end the test. That is the end of the test. All right, so let's start looking at scores. Don't think this will be very difficult to score. I think, yeah. Okay, so fluency and coherence, I'm giving 5 for this. So let's give some notes. So in general, your answers are relevant to the questions, and you develop most of your answers well. However, there were quite a few noticeable critical breakdowns in your speech. So quite a few times where you start a sentence, you stop, you go back, you start, you stop, you go back, you start, you stop, and this has a very negative, unfortunately, a very negative effect on your speaking. So unfortunately 5 there. Lexical resource, I think there's enough for a 7. So you used a lot of very nice words or phrases, especially in part 2. So you use those words like scholarship or cover and financial matters and things like that. All of that was good language strictly connected to achieving your goal of studying abroad. All good stuff. Even in part 1, you had the words like chaos, and in part 3, I think you had discipline and things like this. So they were, really suitable words. I think Samina's vocab is strong. There were some problems with collocation. So think about, those prepositions, how they work, like to be afraid of, or to depend on, or to listen to, or to wait for, or like in the morning, at night, those little words that go together. So there were some problems throughout the test with collocation. I think for band 7 it says you should demonstrate some awareness of style and collocation. I think there was some awareness of style and collocation, so I think I can award the 7 for lexical resource. Grammatical range and accuracy, this one is a 5. I don't think it's bad enough for a 4. There were a couple of good points of grammar, like after finishing university, I will. You had a few, or you have maybe too many first conditional sentences in there. But the biggest problem, most importantly, I'm just going to start with that. Okay, think and then say what you want to say. The critical problem is that there are almost no back-to-back error-free sentences. You have mistakes with very basic English grammar, most noticeably present simple and present continuous. Now, of course, there's more to grammar than just accuracy. And we also want to think about the sentence types and the range of structures. But while a student or while a candidate is making repeated mistakes with present simple and present continuous, forget about anything else with grammar. Forget about any strategies to use, I'm going to use the third conditional, or I'm going to use inversion with not only, or any other nice grammatical structures you learn. If you have repeated mistakes with present simple and present continuous, this is where all of your priority should be, just fixing it. It's not difficult to learn the rules. The rules are a little bit annoying, but it's not difficult to learn them, especially someone of Samina's ability. Her natural English use is good. For someone with her ability, she shouldn't have too much trouble learning this very simple grammar. Pronunciation, I think I can give a 6 here. So let's say firstly, I didn't have to work hard to understand what you were saying. Cool. You have a good but not full range of phonological features. So the most noticeable mistake was with the j and with the j. Usually traffic jams with a j, jams. So those are a couple of mistakes. I think you had a mispronunciation with the word bicycle, that you said like bicycle or something like this. There were also, there were a couple of instances where I just didn't know what you were saying. So you mentioned something about the financial problem because you're from a family, or you're in a family. I just didn't understand what that word was. And there were, I think, 2 or 3 instances where I just thought, I just don't know what she said. So what do we have? 5, 7, 5, 6. So this rounds down, I believe, to a 5.5, which I'm surprised by, because when I first did the test with Samina, I kind of felt like her natural English skills were probably, she was probably a 6.0, 6.5 was my first impression. But watching it back, 5.7, 5.6, that is, just so I'm sure, 5.5, yeah, that is round. So in total, so overall, it's 5.75. Now, it's so difficult to find the accurate information from IELTS about this, but when you have a 7.75 score like this, if we're talking about your overall mark for IELTS in general, mixing the speaking, writing, listening, reading, if it's 0.75, it rounds up. But if it's an individual part, like the writing is super complicated to explain how it works. But in speaking, if you get 5.75, this will round down to a 5.5, unfortunately. It's still upper intermediate, it's still okay, but I don't think it's the score that Samina wants, and I think she certainly has the potential to get a better mark than this. So a couple of key points to work on. Try to avoid answering every question with "of course." That's a minor point. I'm not going to say that's the number one key point to work on. The key point to work on is you have to fix your grammar. You have to fix, and I'm not talking about learning very complicated grammar. Just learning A2 grammar, pre-intermediate grammar. Just learning A2 grammar, maybe even elementary grammar. Present simple, present continuous, past simple, future would be going to, future with will. It will take you a long way if you can have 100% accuracy with present simple, present continuous, past simple, future be going to, future will. Your grammar will immediately jump to 6, maybe even higher. So you have to fix the elementary grammar mistakes. They're killing your score, unfortunately. Something else. You have to learn how to organize your thoughts. It's tough. Even if it means slowing down, even if it means taking a little bit of time to think about what you're going to say, even if it means a little bit more hesitation, I think a little bit more hesitation is better than constant reformulation. So, let's say you have a simple question like, what do you do in your free time? In my free time, I hang out with my friends and we go to the cinema, but I also like spending time alone. Like sometimes I just stay home and watch TV. I think that's better than what do you do in your free time? Oh, we and my I go my friends and I, we sometimes sometimes we my friends and I go to the cinema with my friends and we buy tickets for the a little bit of hesitation is better than this chaotic attempt at reformulating every time. So those are my 3 points for you, Samina, to work on. I hope you guys found this video useful and informative. I do have a little bit of free time. I'm getting a lot of requests, but if you are interested in having feedback on your speaking, please do get in touch. Information on how to get in touch with me is given below. If you have got in touch with me and I haven't replied yet, I am sorry. I'm just working through a lot of messages at the moment. I promise I will reply to you. Please don't send me 6 or 7 emails begging me. I have quite a few examples of this now where the same person has sent 6 or 7 messages getting more and more aggressive. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this to try to help as many people as possible. So please just give me a little bit of patience. But that's all for now. Thank you very much. Have a good one, and bye-bye.